I'm going to show you how I work through a question like 19T. Then I want you to go to page 16 and work through 20 and 21 on your own. So 19T reads, the stage directions in paragraphs 9 and 12 provide evidence that for George, his speech about the future has become, and then I have 4 options: unbelievable, a ritual, a joke, and pointless. So some key information in the question that I need to make sure I understand so that I know what I'm being asked to do is this idea of stage directions, that it's paragraphs 9 through 12, and that I'm looking for something about this character George and a speech that he makes about the future. So the key with a question like this is it isn't really about the stage directions. It's really about understanding evidence, and the stage directions is just telling us where to look for it. But really we need to understand evidence, and then we need to know how to draw a conclusion from that evidence. And drawing a conclusion is really just making meaning. That here's the information we've been given, looking at all of it together, what does it mean? So to answer this question, I'm going to have to go back up to paragraphs 9 to 12, maybe even a little bit earlier than that. I'm going to have to find the speech that George makes, and I'm going to have to look in the stage directions for evidence that tells me how he has begun to feel about giving this speech. So paragraphs 9 to 12, from here to here, that's where my evidence will be, but I'll start just a little bit before that. I'll read through, and then I'll look for my evidence. So paragraph 7, Lenny says, "Come on, George, tell me, please, like you've done before." George replies, "You get a kick out of that, don't you? All right, I'll tell you." And then we lay out our beds and eat our dinner. Lenny says, "Go on, George." And then these are my stage directions. Unrolls his bed and lies on his side, supporting his head on one hand. George lays out his bed, sits cross-legged on it. George repeats next speech rhythmically as though he has said it many times before. And that's probably important information in the stage directions about this speech. George says, "Guys like us that work on ranches is the loneliest guys in the world. They ain't got no family. They don't belong no place. They come to a ranch and work up a stake, and then they go into town and blow their stake. And then the first thing you know, they're pounding their tail on some other ranch. They ain't got nothing to look ahead to." Lenny, delightedly, that's it. Now tell how it is with us." George, there are stage directions, still almost chanting, "With us it ain't like that. We got a future. We got somebody to talk to that gives a damn about us. We don't have to sit in no bar room blowing in our jack just because we got no place else to go. If them other guys gets in jail, they can rot for all anybody gives a damn." And then Lenny says, and he cannot restrain himself, "But not us. And why? Because I got you to look after me, and you got me to look after you, and that's why." He laughs. "Go on, George." Now I'm going to look at my evidence, because again, the stage directions 9 to 12 provide evidence that for George, his speech about the future has become. And I'm going to look at this, and the stage directions say that George repeats the speech rhythmically as if he has said it many times before, and he is still almost chanting. This seems to be a key piece of evidence in this idea of rhythmically and chanting. So if I'm saying something rhythmically, as if I've said it many times before, as if I'm chanting it, then it seems like I've done it many times. And if I've done it many times, then I'm going to look at my answer choices and see if any of these match how I would feel about making that kind of speech. In other words, I'm going to draw a conclusion from that evidence about what does it mean. So, unbelievable. If I'm having to repeat something over and over and over again so that it becomes rhythmically, it's not because it's unbelievable. B is a ritual. And if I need to, I'm going to look in the dictionary and see that a ritual is something done over and over for a specific purpose. Okay, that's intriguing. That might be my answer. A joke. I don't see anything in the stage directions where George is giving his speech rhythmically, as if he's done it many times before, and as if he's chanting, that makes him present it as if it's a joke. So I'm going to eliminate joke. He doesn't seem to find any of this funny. And then we have pointless, meaning that there's no purpose, there's no reason. So the idea that he does this over and over again, that he chants it, that it's rhythmic, it doesn't seem to mix well with it being pointless or having no purpose at all. So I'm going to eliminate that, and I'm going to attach this idea of a ritual as something that's done over and over. And when I look at my evidence that George does it rhythmically, that he's done it many times before, I'm going to say that my evidence points to B, ritual, as the correct answer. Now again, I want you to go to page 16, and I want you to try the same process with 20 and 21, and then check back to see whether we got the same answers.